What's shaking world? Minasan Yoksel. Welcome to the Layup Line with Nick Fazekas and John Ramey. I'm Ramey. The NBA playoffs are upon us, and the greatest athletes in the world will now play with an intensity and ferocity that is frankly unsustainable during the 82-game regular season. We also see this in baseball, the only other major sport with an equivalent regular season that is as much a war of attrition on the athletes' bodies as it is a sporting season. Like Major League Baseball, the NBA regular season is to be endured, and then the postseason is to be won. We are not saying that NBA or Major League Baseball players don't play at 100% of athletic capacity during the regular season. Quite the opposite. The difference is that athletic competitive capacity is increased when the number of games is shrunk. The postseason creates a structure in which elite athletes can play harder for longer because there are fewer games to endure. The impact of this shift in paradigm from regular season to postseason is more pronounced in basketball because the physical structure of competition in basketball is more athletically explosive than baseball, for example. And so, more than baseball or any other sport, the NBA leveling up in intensity for this final sprint to the championship gives us some of the most transcendent athleticism in the world. If only they would call traveling. We'll talk to Nick Fazekas about this and Nevada basketball transfer portal chatter on the Layup Line next. In the biggest little city, I'm John Ramey. In the Valley of the Sun, Scottsdale, Arizona, he is the GOAT, Nick Fazekas, Wolfpack Hall of Famer. And Nick, let's start with Nevada basketball roster chatter, the portal, and we've got some acquisitions and we've got some key returnees. So Von Weems is back, Elijah Price is back, Peyton White and Miles Walker have declared they are coming back along with Ethan Crowley. The big who saw some action limited, especially in non-conference play. Picking up Weems, how do you feel about that?
I love it. We've talked about this before on the show, John, where I think Vaughn is going to be a huge piece. And I think he's going to be, I think he's going to have a chance to be the, potential leading scorer on this next year's squad. And I think he can kind of be the guy that, maybe, guides this team. I mean, obviously him and Elijah played a pretty big role in last year. And now from a culture, perspective, I think the two of those guys are going to really be able to kind of make this what they want. And, you start looking at, some of these guys that they've added with Majok and, obviously Peyton and Miles coming back. That was kind of our, in the beginning of the season, as we're calling those games on the radio, it was a fun little freshman combination. And I think Peyton only gets better. I think he probably had a bit of a learning curve there through the Mountain West Conference. He kind of came out the gates really rolling, but I'm excited to kind of see what he becomes. Miles just, hopefully earns more and more playing time. But yeah, I think you've got to be pretty optimistic and pretty happy as a Pac fan with kind of seeing what's coming in and what has been retained.
Okay, let's talk about Simon Majok, who is a 7'1" transfer coming in from Memphis. We talked about how critical it was for the Wolfpack to fill the vacancy created by the graduation of Joel Armatrading at the 5. Remember, Elijah Price had to play the 5 a lot of the year because of Joel's injury, but Price is naturally suited to the 4. His skill set, his physique, naturally suited to the 4 position. So it was critical Nevada picked up a 5. And Simon Majok at Memphis last year averaged 3 points, 2.5 rebounds, 12.5 minutes per game. He's 7'1". He's a legit 7'1". I was talking to Wolfpack assistant coach Bill Dwaney. Coach Dwaney is really high on Majok. He moves more like he's 6'8", and says he's got a chance to develop as a shooter from outside 3. He also developed in the Serbian professional system, so he understands the modern game. He can go inside, outside. He understands the flow of the modern game. I'm pretty excited about the addition of Simon Majok.
Well, John, I mean, we talked about it before, and just, from my belief is that Elijah's a 4. He's through and through a 4, man. He likes to play the 4. He doesn't need to guard the biggest, tallest guy on the other team. So I really like that addition, and I think that those two should make a really good pair to start the season next year.
Also at 7'1", he's obviously going to be a big-time rim protector. Tell me about the importance of him having learned coming up through the Serbian national system. I said professional earlier. I meant the Serbian national system. But either way, there's great basketball culture in Serbia, and we see that now even in the Mountain West. You played internationally. What does that mean as far as just kind of basketball prowess, basketball IQ?
Well, for anybody that needs a geography lesson, Serbia is where Nikola Jokic is from, and that's where he learned how to play his game. So people are now starting to talk about him being the best basketball player of all time. So probably being part of that system is going to be a bonus for Simon, and just understanding a system. I'm not really sure what was going on at Memphis and what Penny was doing down there. I didn't watch a ton of those games, but I think growing up in that system, utilizing that system is definitely going to help not only his game, but his IQ. I mean, the Serbians play a very, methodical, they play like the not old school, but kind of like the traditional basketball where guys are passing and moving and setting good screens. And it's, the beautiful part of basketball. So hopefully Simon's able to bring that in. You hope that he, wants to, flourish in the system, figure out what the system is of what Steve wants to do next year. And it kind of just hits the ground running, because getting out the gates, we've kind of learned is important for, a mid-major.
All right, finally, Tyler Rollison in the transfer portal for the Wolfpack. You can go in the portal and come back out, but assuming this means that Rollison is departing the Wolfpack, again, that's not confirmed, but assuming this means he departs the Wolfpack, what do you see for him in the future? Because I think with Tyler Rollison, there has always been the potential we've all seen, and he has skills, and it's just a matter of consistency. I mean, he could be a solution for somebody in a big way next year.
I think 100% he could be a solution somewhere. I don't know what that looks like, and I'm not going to sit here and say he's a mid-major, low-major, whatever he might be. I think for Tyler, he just needs to find a coach that is okay with some of his, mistakes that he makes, and kind of give him maybe a little bit of a longer leash. Maybe that means it's a program that isn't in completely win now mode, or maybe has aspirations for, the NCAA tournament from the very get-go, or maybe a conference tournament right from the get-go. But yeah, Tyler's definitely shown some flashes where you're like, dude, if this guy can really do it, like, he can go. And then there was obviously multiple flashes where you're kind of like, oh, did Tyler play tonight or did he not play, because he just didn't have that big of an effect on the game. So like I said, I'm not sure if it's level or whatever it is, but I think hopefully he can find his way into a system and find his way with the next head coach to where there is a little bit of that longer leash, and a guy that basically is like putting all the trust and faith into TR to be like, dude, this is your show, you run it, and we're going to let you run it how you want to.
Okay, we'll talk NBA playoffs next on the Layup Line. Come on back.
The following segment is sponsored by Bradley, Drendel, and Janae.
It's NBA playoffs time. Nick Fazekas, John Ramey with you on the Layup Line. And Nick, I have to tell you, I love basketball. My career has had me covering college basketball exclusively. And so the NBA playoffs are something I experience as a fan. And I'm pretty casual about the NBA, to say the least, during the regular season. But I love the playoffs. And I usually don't know very much. So I get to have a fan-like experience with the NBA postseason. I talked about it in the monologue. Because the regular season's 82 games, you play at 100%, but that 100% has to be set to kind of survive 82 games. Is it right if I'm saying there's a different 100% in the NBA postseason?
You are definitely right, John. I can remember playing in the NBA, and a lot of guys said, like, the difference between averaging 20 in the regular season and averaging 20 in the playoffs was like night and day. I think you just see a complete different level of intensity, because, yeah, like you're saying, it's a marathon to get through that 82 games. Those guys are flying, they're beat up, they're just, they're exhausted by the end of this thing. But I think you see a different level of intensity where there's now like something on the line. It's essentially win or go home. You watched that Heat Hornets game last night, and you saw how, heated that game got with LaMelo and Bam, and then you're making threes that you don't see, and there's just a different level of intensity with the entire NBA playoffs. And so, yeah, I think that's why someone like yourself who probably doesn't follow the regular season, and there's probably a lot of people that don't follow regular season very closely, but when it gets to playoff time, it's almost become like must-see TV.
Okay, you talked about that Heat game and Charlotte, and did you think that was a cheap shot on Bam by Mr. Ball?
I mean, I don't know if it was a cheap shot. I mean, you slow-mo it, and you kind of like see LaMelo kind of like grab his foot. And I don't know really even why LaMelo grabbed his foot, if he did grab it. Like, I mean, he did definitely, but it wasn't like he tried to trip him. And I mean, you know, LaMelo's never been coined as a dirty player. That's kind of like never been his thing. LaMelo's just kind of out there hooping, and he's actually a lot of fun to watch. So I'm happy that Charlotte won, because it would be really, really fun to watch LaMelo get into a 7-game series with whoever it would be after they play the next game. But that being said, I mean, I was happy the Hornets won. It's kind of new blood in the playoffs. The Heat have been there, done that. They're kind of a boring team to me at this point.
Okay, so this play-in round, the SoFi NBA play-in tournament, I mean, do you like this? Because it's like, it was single elimination for the 7-10 game, or for the initial game, rather, with Charlotte and with the Heat. But ultimately, the winners in this play-in are getting the top seed or the 2 seed in both the West and the East. So, like, if you come out of the East, you're going to get Detroit or whatever. I mean, do you like the layer of intrigue? Or, like, for me, I'm just like, oh, this is obtuse. I feel like it's another consumer product I have to get used to, but that's just like a middle-aged take.
I mean, it's good, right? Because last night you got some intensity. Like, you don't get very many regular season games like that. So personally, I do like it. It's kind of like, I mean, it's essentially the play-in of exactly what the NCAA tournament is. Like, sure. You get to play in the playoffs, but then you get to like sort of the big dance, and that's exactly what it is. And I mean, you see some of these play-in teams that kind of have some momentum. I know it's not like knocking off the 1 seed and the 2 seeds like that, because that's just not really what happens in the NBA. After you play 82 games, you kind of figure out who's better than who. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, now you start getting injuries and you start getting things that happen. A team like Charlotte, you know, with how Canuple and LaMelo both shot the 3 all season, I mean, they're definitely a dangerous team. So, yeah, I like the play-in tournament, John. I think that maybe you should probably fall in love with it too, because it's a good night of basketball. You get 2 really good games. You get 2 high-intensity games. It's a win-or-go-home scenario compared to the 7-game series, which I know is kind of what the NBA is really, really good at, is the 7-game series. But there's nothing like a win-or-go-home type of game.
All right. I mean, listen, your recommendation carries a lot of weight with me, especially when it comes to postseason basketball. The good news is this play-in round lasts all the way through Friday, and then the playoffs with the full-length series begin on Saturday. Okay, finally, the top seeds Pistons in the East and the Thunder in the West. I mean, the Thunder has clearly been the class of the league, and they're the defending champs. Do you like the Thunder, or do you like the field?
I like the field.
Really?
I think you look at the Thunder, and I just think you look at how difficult it is to go back-to-back. And, I mean, they've had some injuries. They've kind of had, like, they started off the season just so great, and then they kind of, like, ran into a buzzsaw. You know, I know Jalen Williams has been in and out of the lineup. Chet has always been kind of fragile. Of course, They have the best player in the world in SGA, but you look at the Spurs, and, like, the Spurs have kind of become their kryptonite. So I know that the Nuggets are in the West, and, like, the Nuggets, it kind of feels like it's a merry-go-round, right? Where it's like the Spurs beat the Thunder, but the Thunder beat the Nuggets, but I think the Nuggets beat the Spurs. So it kind of all becomes like where you're looking from as far as matchups go. But I don't think OKC want to see San Antonio whenever they may have to see them, because if they do, I mean, the Spurs have kind of like let them know, like, you know, we own you guys. And I just think that that's one thing. But the Nuggets are the wild card with Jokic. That being said, I think the Nuggets only go as far as Jamal Murray takes them. I mean, Jokic is guaranteed 30, 20, and 20 every night as it is. It's just kind of wavering on what kind of the Aaron Gordons and the Jamal Murrays can do as far as the Nuggets go.
All right, we'll be following the NBA playoffs in the coming weeks on the Layup Line. When we come back, Iowa football in trouble, and there's a Reno connection. That's next on the Layup Line.
The following segment is sponsored by Northern Nevada Toyota Dealers.
Reno native and DeMonte Ranch former star quarterback Cade McNamara is in the center of a controversy. Welcome back to the Layup Line. Nick Fazekas in Scottsdale, John Ramey in Reno. Iowa football has been placed on probation for 1 year. This is Chris Murray's reporting on NevadaSportsNet.com. Iowa football will pay a self-imposed $25,000 fine and vacate 4 wins from 2023. Evidently, Iowa inappropriately contacted Cade McNamara when he was not in the portal. McNamara transferred to Iowa from Michigan. Iowa will vacate 4 wins and pay a self-imposed fine of $25,000. I'm repeating that number, Nick Fazekas. And they're on probation. I am confused. I'm just confused. Do you understand my confusion? Like,
of course.
Like, $25,000 self-imposed fine. Like, listen, that's a lot of money to me. It's a lot of money, I presume, to you, and a lot of people watching. But like, Big Ten football, I mean, that's couch cushion money. Iowa went 10-4 and lost in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in 2023. Do they care if they vacate 4 wins? Like, I'm just like, I thought the whole point of getting into this, NIL payment and transfer portal era was that we're getting rid of fig leaves, right? We're getting rid of pretend realities and just being honest about the fairly transactional nature and big revenue nature of big-time college sports. I don't know. What do you got on this?
I mean, come on, John. Like, what are we talking about here? It's not even like we're splitting hairs. What are we doing? I mean, we're like, self-imposed $25,000 is, I mean, you talk about a drop in the bucket to a university like Iowa. That is like the definition of it, like the smallest of drops in the bucket. But it's like, phone calls to the kid's dad. Like, I mean, this stuff is happening on a day-to-day basis. Can you imagine the text messages that are flying, the DMs and the Instagrams that are flying from like coaches, this, that, the other? I mean, there's got to be so much stuff. I mean, it's already the wild, wild west with the NIL and the way these kids can enter the portal at any given time and they're making all this money. Like, I mean, this just seems like the silliest thing in the world that this has even become something. And then on top of that, like you said, to vacate 4 wins for a Cheez-It Citrus Bowl win, like, who really cares? Like, at the end of the day, when Reggie Bush had to vacate the Heisman, that's something a little bit different. But this is like, who really cares? So a little bit comical, just, I don't know, just more hoopla to the whole NIL thing that we have going on in NCAA sports.
Yeah, that's my concern, is that this is just, these are punishments, but again, they're going to vacate the first 4 wins of a season where they went 10-4 and played in a non-playoff bowl game. So I'm glad you see it the same way I do, Nick, because we want to have rules and we want to have punishments that mean stuff, and I feel like this just dials up the cynicism a little bit when it's so transparently kind of meaningless consequences. All right. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, John. Very meaningless, but it's just a silly thing that the NIL, and it just feels like, we're like making up rules as we go along. It's like the biggest rule that needs to be imposed on all this stuff is, how do you get to a place where these kids have to sign contracts with universities and keep them in place so that this transfer portal becomes less and less like the Wild West?
Okay, when we come back, Japanese phrase of the week on the Layup Line. Stay with us.
The following segment is sponsored by Nevada Department of Wildlife.
Fazekas and Ramey back on the Layup Line, and we have the Japanese phrase of the week and Nick Fazekas. I love that it's topical because it fits into what we were just talking about earlier, the transfer portal. Please explain.
Yeah, John. I mean, I hope everybody that's watching is enjoying this Japanese phrase of the week. I feel like we become like senseis over here as I'm kind of like giving this stuff out. And I know sometimes it's phrases, sometimes it's words, right, John? But this one kind of plays into, the transfer portal. It's the word or phrase is norikai shimasu. And what that means is to transfer, essentially. I think it kind of pertains more so to like the train system that they have in Japan. And for anybody that's visiting Japan or has been to Japan, understands there's a lot of transferring of trains. So you can kind of always ask, norikai shimasu ka, with the ka in the end, just kind of adds the question phrase. But fun little phrase here for us, John, is norikai shimasu, means to transfer. You can kind of use it both ways. And kind of goes hand in hand with the transfer portal.
Norikai shimasu. I love it. All right, that'll do it for us on the Layup Line. We'll be back Next week, we'll talk NBA playoffs. He's Fazekas. I'm Ramey. Peace.